about ambition. Are you really serious about starting your business? This is a question that you have to sit down and dig deep because there are many people who want to start a business. There are many people who are in a situation where they're looking to start a business, but they're not serious. They're not real about that. So the big question is, how serious are you about starting your business? That's a real question. That is something that is super, super important. How real are you about starting this business? How much ambition do you have? Where does the truck, where does the rubber meet the road? What is it that is compelling you to get this business up and running? Because there are some people who've been watching this channel for 10 years and they still haven't started their business. 10 years, still haven't started their business. One of the things that can help you and prepare you to start your business is getting this course right here. Money Management is the basics of finance and wealth development. Essentially, what you're doing are running your personal finances like you would run the finances of a business. And this is a good training for you to, one, get the current money that you make in order. So you'll optimize your money. And then, second, when you start your business, you will be able to see that money in your life because you now know how to manage money. So, this includes the 5 checking account blueprint. This is the thing to get your financial life toned up. Be sure to get this today. It is below the video. So, let's talk about ambition. How many folks are in that juicy spot of ambition? What's your ambition? What do you want to do? Do you want to move your family to a better neighborhood? Do you want to make more money? What do you want to do? What is the thing that is pushing you? What is the thing that is driving you? What is the thing that is creating this sense of urgency? It should be something you could write down. It should be something that you can articulate because right now, I want you to think about something. This weekend, I was watching a movie about a guy who was an oil man. He actually went out and drilled the oil wells and all the stuff he had to do. He had to get the help of the town people. He had to hire people who had to manage payroll. There was so many things that he had to do. And this guy, for the time, was quite wealthy, but he was sleeping in a hut. And every time you saw him, he had dirt under his fingernails. But this guy was wealthy. And it got me to thinking, how much has been done in the world? When we walk into a mall, right? It's just a building. You don't really think of the engineering that went into that. You don't think of the people who built that. You don't think of the guy or the people who said, we're going to build this mall when it was just rocks, trees, and grass. They actually had to grade the land. They actually had to get the money together. There was so much that went into, what we have. Like you go into any major city around the world, it is an architectural feat of engineering, getting the streets involved, the street lights, the mail, all of these intricate, complex things that we take for granted. Somebody had to have the ambition to put all that together. Somebody was the the man or the woman to create all of this stuff. I really want you to think about this. Something simple as plumbing. We take for granted that someone engineered plumbing to the point that we don't even think about it. Only time we think about plumbing or electrical or heating is when it doesn't work. Otherwise, it's just part of the background. The ambition of the person who created the first air conditioner for the house. You know, when you see these tall skyscrapers, somebody had to be very ambitious to say, we're going to build this to be 110 stories. We're going to build this to be 250 stories. Somebody was extremely ambitious because when you're putting that together, the engineering that goes into that is insane. So, what's your ambition level? Because without ambition, the little hiccups, speed bumps, the problems, the consequences, the things that are going to come up in your business will derail you without this high level of ambition. It almost like this oil guy, he was like driven. He was putting up oil wells, and he had some of them producing. He was just going for it. And people told him, it's like, this, folks talk smack about him. And he just, I mean, back then, to think of what you had to do to start a business back then when there were no roads. You and your family out here in this wagon. You're out here in this wilderness. And, back then the government gave land grants. So if you wanted to go out in the wilderness, they would just give you land. But the trick was there were no roads, there were no toilets, there was no city, there was nothing. You had to go out there and claim it and build it, create this thing, create this system, create this life. In many regards, that's what you're going to have to do when you build a business. When you're building a business, ain't nothing there. You got to build the roads. You got to put in the plumbing. You got to put in the electrical. You got to do all of that. And this is why template businesses are so attractive. A business that you can just plug into someone else's already established system. And I think for a beginner, a rookie, that's cool. But once you get some seasoning under you, if you keep up doing that, it's going to bite you in the butt. Right now, on my Facebook page, there are several people who used to ardently oppose me for talking trash about Amazon FBA. Now they're talking trash about Amazon FBA. Once again, third parties will behave in their own best interest at some point. It's Cameron's law. And Amazon just like, hey, we don't need all these folks. We don't need all these folks in this category. And they just started getting rid of them. This is what's going to happen with platform businesses. This is one of the things that happens. This is one of the situations that you have to avoid. And also, starting a business from scratch is going to be a challenge because the educational system that we have has not prepared you how to earn money outside of a defined framework of a job or some type of you just haven't been taught those skills. It is my understanding that there are schools now that are teaching these skills, which is awesome. What's up, Von B? Davita Jane? Davita, I was taught for every 20 I make, put 15 back into the business. Okay. What's up, Engineer Life School? King Nix. Thank you, Shabazz. Enterprises, appreciate you. Charcetta, I'm really glad you're enjoying the art of holding and management. Thanks for the outstanding course. Appreciate you. Ben Bills, my ambition is called greed. Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. Um, you got your knowledge from the streets. There is a certain benefit to street knowledge. I was watching this episode of Gary Vee with Reezy Resales, and they were talking because Reezy, because Gary asked him, like, how did you get into selling books? And Reezy was like, this was before YouTube. This was before Gary Vee. This was a long time ago. He saw all these people in Goodwill scanning these books, but nobody would tell him anything. And he's like, they got me making a lot of money. That's street knowledge. That when you can figure out what people are doing without telling you what they're doing, he knew it. He's like, nobody wants to tell me anything. They want to be making money. It's just funny. Oh man, this is it's crazy how your ambition can set you up. Zane S. Yes, I'm trying to drive traffic using Craigslist, but the level of flakes and no responses is discouraging. Have no idea how you dealt with it, Uncle G. Well, let's go ahead and have this conversation. Uh, for anyone that wants to get a little ahead of Craigslist, go below. The flakes and no shows were happening when I was doing it. This is why you've got to stuff your funnel as fat as you can. This is where, let me go ahead and get into this. Hustlers. For those of you who want to do Craigslist and understand, Craigslist by design is hard to deal with. It's just it's a crazy platform. And I had to deal with flakes, no shows. Um, for you Craigslist people, the $25 hustle, how to never be broke again. All this is under the video and the Craigslist marketing course. If you're having problems with Craigslist, go ahead and grab yourself a copy of the Craigslist marketing course. Super economical. um, let me tell you what I went through. And this is where my ambition led me. All right. Let's see. Now that Here's the Craigslist course. All right, engineer life skills. A bull, yes it can. Flakes, flakes gonna flake. All right. So this is the thing with Craigslist. It took me 90 days because you're absolutely right. The number of flakes, no shows, no calls. People will actually say, "Yeah, I'll come get it." Then you call them back. Hey, man, I changed my mind. They didn't even tell you. That has always been going on with Craigslist. The thing is, you got to, as someone said, keep putting up ads. This is why at one point, excuse me, when Craigslist was the where you had to click on that link, they would send you an email and you would have to click on that email to launch your ad. I started stacking my queues. I would put up 100 ads before I set them live. And this would concentrate, and also we were operating in certain categories, so we own categories. But you got to do 10 times as much as you think you do. You put up 10 ads and no one responds and you mad, you got to put up 100 to get consistent results. Amazon delivery, where you put $10,000 and they're telling you you're going to do like 300,000. I would pass on Amazon. That game is so set against you. You would have to work so hard to make halfway decent money. It is unreal. Elite Alpha Fitness. I scheduled an appointment with the pool cleaner, and even he flaked on me. Almost made me think of how can I start a pool cleaning service, because then here that happens often. That's pretty unusual, but it is the wildest thing of how many people, and this is mostly a millennial thing. Millennials just don't like talking on the phone. They don't like keeping appointments. They will flake in a heartbeat. And I think this is why they are the poorest generation we've ever had. And it's because of a lack of simple commitment. Millennials. Let's see. The I mean, this is my thought process on this. And this goes to what we're talking about, ambition. Struggling millennials are the poorest generation since World War II, since the Great Depression. Why aren't millennials spending? They're poorer than previous generations. Millennials are much poorer than their parents. Uh, Millennials are the brokest or richest generation, because see, there's something else too with millennials. You got a ton of 22 to 30-year-old millionaires who actually have ambition, and they use their peer group to make more money. Why millennials are poorer than other generations? Further proof that millennials are the brokest generation. I mean, part of that has to do with that attitude. Um, I remember the first time I ran into it. I hired this guy and we had to go to Tennessee to do this job. And he didn't show up and I called him and his girlfriend was like, he's like, tell him I'm sick. And I was like, tell him he's fired. I think the lack of commitment and the lack of ambition is the reason that the millennials have this financial problem. They are the best educated generation by large, but they don't have any money. They have middle class educations, but poor people incomes. And a good part of that is the lack of the ability to stay on point, lack of ambition, to be focused. It's the craziest thing. And also, this is not just their problem because they're so poor and they're not having kids because they're so poor that this is going to impact Social Security by 2035. Currently, there's 2.8, almost 2.9 people in the workforce for every person that's on Social Security. That's going to whittle down to two point one point something to two point something in about year 2035. It is crazy what is happening with the millennials, but lack of ambition. I can tell that I had an office that I had hired, and my best performers were the people over 50, not the millennials. Well, one, she was on it, but yeah, let's see. Oh man, it's ridiculous. I prefer to talk on the phone. I'm 22. You must be an exception. Shabazz, I have one in my home, 16 years old. That's another generation right there. Yes, 89 Dr. Funk. They're the poorest since W2. Underdog. Yeah, pick up the phone and call them and inquire. Yep, this the stuff. I never heard of Ship Bob. Since I'm not in the resell, I don't know any of these services or things set up for resellers. I will say reselling has taken on a strong position. Dan Penna, I've heard of him. Not a lot. Shabazz, and they think their parents should buy them everything. Dan Penna's a bulldog. Good Lord, Shabazz. Yeah, ambition is the secret juice that will literally throw your business to the next level, and it is something that many people just don't understand. Now, millennials, that's a whole nother story. There's so many, there are some millennials, the millennials today are the hippies of the 60s. And I was reading this book and it was talking about the millennials are going to be all right. But when? Because the people in the 60s, they were that way when they were young. And the minute they started getting a certain age, they still got married, they still had children, they were still on that correct timeline. The millennials are not. All right, Anthony Johnson. Been the bartender, finally cracked the code for the flea market, did 204 hours. The rain kept me from making more, even though some hardcore buys were still there. Hey, The flea markets. There's a very interesting story about the flea markets. I did not like the flea markets. It wasn't because you couldn't make money. I did not like the work that was involved, and that's how the upscale garage sale came about. Yes, the hippies did all that, man. The hippies are, you know, man, they're the retiring doctors. They became attorneys and became police officers. The hippies came of age much quicker than the millennials. The hippies were like, we're going to smoke weed. We're going to have free love. The hippies were screwing, but they still were on a timeline to become mature adults. All right. So I don't know what's going to happen with the millennials. Charlotte, I too have an unmotivated, nonchalant millennial in my home. This woke generation, they're very idealistic, but no follow through. Millennials also don't work in one place for a long time. The ones that do work want a title change in less than 3 years. If they don't get it, they leave the job. It is crazy. I remember I hired someone who had, in my opinions, a pretty easy job. Been the bartender. Hippies only lost summers. Some millennials have lost years. Get to the point where some millennials have lost a decade. Hired him, and he was on the job for 4 weeks, and he wanted to take a day off. And I said, okay, you can take a day off. You just won't get paid for it. And he wanted to be paid. He wanted vacation time immediately. He hadn't even worked enough hours to earn time off. And it became a heated thing where they wanted all these benefits. The thing is, they were looking at the benefits that these internet businesses were offering, and they expected that from my shop. And it was just like, those are unrealistic expectations. Anthony Johnson, I was born in 1999. The cutoff date now certainly differ from my counterparts, but we're not all like you speak of. Dang, David Lee. I'm a millennial. I'm in bed right now. Anthony Johnson, I'm 28 and ahead of being the most successful stride of your 40s, but I have an impeccable hunger, so we vary. A Bull, I'm in the age group of millennials, and my peers are just spoiled or between spoiled and not spoiled. Who's to blame here? When some had parents, some did not. I think the parents had a problem. Ben, that's why I want to own my own company. I'm a millennial. I work. These other millennials are something else. The workforce isn't used to what it used to be. The work your web structure no longer. It exists. You got to actually be more proactive about it. The days of working for a company and working in the mailroom and working your way up, that was an expected path. Today, you've got to be more proactive. They try to negotiate the contract after they sign it. Man, because we even had that conversation because when he got his offer letter, all that stuff was in it. And I was just like, why'd you sign it if you didn't agree? He's like, I ain't really understand it. man. And the millennials get people heated up. Yeah, I mean, if you're born poor, it's not your fault. If you die poor, that has a lot to do with you. That has a lot to do with what you're doing. $7 more, $7 an hour more. That's significant money. That's significant money, man. $7. Shoot, what is that? That is whoa, whoa. Is that right? Seven times one six. That's a that's over a G a month. That's $1,120 increase. That's you got to make that move because that's $13,000 a year more. Man, but ambition, man, it is the secret sauce that will take you where you need to be. It is the magic elixir that will change things because it was ambition that made me sit at my desk for 90 plus days working on, I mean, every day I worked on it because I was like, man, and little did I know I'll be using this for personal use later on down the road. You know, if you're trying to get traffic from Craigslist, the thing you got to understand is you got to get way more traffic. Then, you can't 10, 15 ads ain't going to get it. You need to start thinking in terms of 100 ads. That's what you need to think of. Erica Williams, friend is recruiter, seeing highest numbers of 30 to 35-year-old men and women joining the Army. There ain't no way I could have joined the Army at 30, 35, man. That's just, you need to do that out of high school. That's going to be so hard for 30, 35 years old. Woo, that's going to be hard. Right now, Army struggling with folks from injuries from basic training. I can't remember anyone being injured during my basic training. I remember we had a few people who washed out, but nobody was injured. And they were like on us. Injuries from, good Lord, that's crazy. Hey, Bull, I grew up with a plastic spoon that I have to always reuse for other meals. Hey, that's gonna put some ambition on you. That's gonna put that thirst on you. What's up? The truck drivers under 30 want guaranteed pay regardless of the mile. It's wild out here. And this is one of the things that many millennials do not understand. They see you as a business owner and they see you as an ATM. They don't understand that certain actions must be taken to bring that money in, such as a truck driver. You got the cost of that truck, you got the cost of insurance, you got the cost of permits, you got the cost of maintenance. There ain't enough meat on that bone for everybody, but they seem to think it is. Anthony Johnson, you also need to cross promote, not just focus on Craigslist. Craigslist can be an excellent source of traffic. Ben, you consider the Army? Wow. Hey, Bull, now I'm 27 with my own detailing business. I'll pay you for let's talk. Either you want security or you want, let's see, freedom. Victor's McMullers. All right. Here's the thing with passive income. You need to have high active income to throw off passive income. Once again, it's about ambition, man. What's up, Be Real? Thanks for the dollar, Art Arnston. The brand many millions of taught entitlement by left wing professors. Wow. David Lee, I'm a trust fund baby. That's why I think I got the game messed up. Thanks for the $12, Charlotta Thomas. Ben the bartender. Stuff was rough 10 years ago. How many of y'all thought about joining the military? Like, my opinion, the military is a young man's game or a young woman's game. Because I remember when they had, we had a few guys who were like 21, 22, but they were still young enough to be shaped and molded. Being 30, 35 in the military as a private, woo! So high active income ideas. You gotta sit down and focus, man. Left wingers in college teach everyone the rich owe them money and wealth. Louis the Seller, thank you and everyone else who served this country. One of my biggest regrets in life is not serving. The discipline attained through could have helped my business. No doubt, self-doubt sucks. Be Real, ex-military, but went in right after high school. All right, Shabazz, congratulations on that Corvette purchase. Oh man, yeah. I would never tell someone over 30 to join the military. Not what I know. And also, there's your peer group. You go in at 30, 35, and you're in there with all these kids. They're either going to look up to you or they're going to clown you. And if you can't keep up with them, they're going to clown you. They ain't going to be like, well, come on, Mr. Johnson. Try to get those 45 push-ups. You could, no. They're going to clown you. All right, Ben. Glad to see you on that straight and narrow. That is awesome, Shabazz. Wow. Louis the Seller, do you think American pride is on the decline? Absolutely. People, I used to take pride in any job that I did. I don't care if it was sweeping up. I would do it to the best professional method I could because I took pride in my work. That is, as someone who's hired a few hundred people, that is gone. Every now and then, typically, I see that type of attitude in older workers, not younger workers. Charlotte, I saw a guy says he bought 500,000 worth of Facebook algorithm intel to increase sales on that. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. Erica Williams. Yep, my friend said the drill sergeant is calling folks old left and right. He has folks want to join. You think he keep up with the 18-year-olds? I mean, seriously. You got, let me tell you about one of my friends, Charles Walker. He actually was in college when he joined the military. Walker was a world-class sprinter. He was, the reason he joined the military is because he didn't make the cut for the Olympics. So he used to sprint his first lap of running out for a PT test. He used to sprint fast as he could, and he would slow down on each route. This is what you got, young, fresh, joints good, all these systems working. Oh man, customer service is crazy. Erica, I challenged myself. If I couldn't get right by 31, I was going to go for 4 years. Apparently, that was enough to light a fire under you. I mean, you got to understand that these kids, they're not kids like we were kids. These kids are working out, taking protein. It's a different world out here now. It's a totally different world out here. What you have with these people, what they're doing. um, I am out of touch. So I appreciate Erica for chiming in, because that's something I never would have ever thought, to join the military at 30, 35. If you're a man and you're in like terrific shape, that's part of the battle. But the other battle is mental. The way that these drills talk to you, and you've been out in the world as an adult. Wait a minute. Drill Sergeant Macmillan said, "What to me?" Oh man. I think the cutoff age is 35. I mean, if I had to do the military all over again, I would have joined the Air Force. That's the only thing I would have did differently. Better career tech. Erica was right before I got big money, and I was like, forget that. Hey G, I just seen one of your very first storage auction videos come across my YouTube feed, Evolution at its best. They're really pushing those older videos? That's crazy. Hell yeah, I got into a kickboxing class, and it's a 14-year-old who's a beast. My friend joined at 33, and he had 7 dudes, same age. They ran together. I'm going to tell you, man. When I went to basic training, the summer of 1985, I went in at 205, 25, 210. First leave, I went home, I was 180. I was 180. It ain't no joke. Yeah, it's I lost 25 pounds in like 3 months. I went home, people didn't even recognize me. That's how intense it was. Because the thing is, you march everywhere, you run everywhere. Only time that you're not moving is when you sleep. Been the bartender, yeah, I ended up making more money than the guy I was working out with. Wanted to do the same, went in and got injured doing a routine training exercise. Wow. Ken and Savage, if you're going to come in later in life, just have your degree so you can take the officer route. There were people who have completed college when I was in, and they couldn't get to officer. They couldn't go to the officer route. A college degree does not guarantee that. I mean, there were a lot of people who had completed college and they could not go. They could not get in the officer program. They had to go enlisted. So I think that since there are so many people, I would feel that getting into the officer ranks is highly competitive, because it was competitive when I was in. That was one of the things, because I was dating this girl. She had a degree in 2 years outside of college, and they told her she had to come in as a listed. Marvin Marquez, it was 7 years old, looked like it was shot in your living room or something. You never changed your message. Classic. No, man, it's the same message. That's wild that they're running those, they're pushing those videos up there. Eric Williams, yeah, if you're a nurse, doctor, you can skip it kind of and do 6 week training in Alabama. It's some kind of medic program. It's paying off those loans. Yeah. If they have a need for your degree, docs, nurses, stuff like that, yeah, you could probably hit the officer rank. But you just got a regular college degree. I don't think so. They were denying people when I was in the 80s. That's wild. Erica, you still blowing my mind that all these folks are joining the military. Oh, it's a sign. Oh, definitely a sign in the economy. But this is the greatest economy ever. There is no recession coming. We got folks who go out and get a brand new car, then they have to sign up for Uber Eats to make the note. It's 39 is the cutoff for the, and 34 for the Air Force. You talking about almost a 40-year-old person going to that is crazy talk. That's someone with a completely whoo military short on doctors. My VA doctor got recalled at 65. A doctor I can see because the doctor's not going to be running that PT and stuff. He's going to be doing this doctor stuff. But still, you know that you could be old as you want. If you're in good health, you can retire after 30 years. That's when you get those 75% checks. 75% of what you used to make. You got full bird colonels and generals who retire who are making six figures in retirement money. You got a few master sergeants and E7s who stayed 30 years and they making that long money. He still has to do PT. Wow. Y'all are blowing my mind. 39 years old. Yeah, this definitely you had to do the military after high school. Definitely after high school because of all the things that were in there. What about an admiral? You don't go in as an admiral. I think the highest you can go in is a captain, and that's going to be like a doctor or somebody. And most of the time, it's the people who go to the military schools to learn how to do war who get promoted to admiral. 39 at 250. That's just craziness. That's just craziness right there. It really is. I'm about to let's see. Let me look this up. This has got me tripping. Man, they got all this stuff in here. I'll look that up later. All right, I'm getting ready to go. For those of you who need to get your basic financial education together, go ahead and grab this today. Money Management Basics of Finance and Wealth Development. This right here optimizes your finances. So when you move to the next step of starting a business, as they used to say in living color, more money, more money, more money, more money. So go ahead and grab that. It's going to set you up. It's going to optimize your finances for you to make more money. The link is below the video. Let's see what y'all got to say before we roll out of here. Rose Gibb, thank you for service. I served 26 years. We had an older lady. She was 35, and the drill sergeant treated her horrible with a 60-pound duffel bag. This was in the mid 90s. Good Lord. Really? Dang, Rose GB. Good Lord. She just got in. Man, these millennials are something else. All right. I'll see you guys. I'm about to do some research on the old folks joining the military. But that's blowing my mind. See you guys in the next stream.